you come down with the same training partner, grab someone that you've never worked with before. I like to show techniques and let you know that this is a general way of doing things. You are going to have to modify each technique based upon your opponent's size and ability. I do a lot of amateur wrestling camps and clinics and mixed martial arts and the whole 9 yards. Everyone wants to see that technique where you reach in your pocket and go, ta-da, I win. There are no ta-das, okay? I hate to break anyone's heart here this morning. There are no ta-das. You are going to find out that everybody that you work with, you've got to modify these techniques just a little bit, whether it be based on height, weight, flexibility issues, strength issues. It all modifies to a certain extent. I show chokeholds. Well, I got a guy that shows up here about every 2.5 to 3 months. He's down to 350 pounds. Let me repeat that. He's down to 350 pounds. Now, at 350 pounds, oh, he's ripped and he's shredded. He's got abs. Now, granted, you can't buy his vitamins at the local GNC nutrition store. Wink, 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 okay? And he doesn't have a neck. He has a dome that blends into shoulders. And he laughs if anyone attempts of choking him because there is no neck to go over. It's just this trunk that goes into it. But there's things you can do to him still. But you have to modify differently because we're all created differently. I hate to say that, you know. I know there's this equal opportunity. Well, this is not an equal opportunity right now. You'll find out that you have to do things differently based on body type. Injuries are going to take into factor. Flexibility, all that stuff will come into factor. I said, so if you get a chance when we get out here, grab a different partner. Grab something a little bit different shape, size, stuff like this. As I went through here between the two couple rooms here right now, I see guys are starting to huff and puff. You're understanding this whole concept. As you're doing this, as I made a comment earlier, it will develop cardiovascular endurance, sport specific. And you're also developing muscular endurance, sport specific. I can go in a gym and I lift all the weights I want. I can go out and run all I want. But until I have a tiger on the tail, by the tail out on the mat, now you are doing things very specific. One of the things I've shared with a couple of the groups right now, when I'm tumbling in, as I move this hand, the overhand is going to be moved to this inside position. What I've shared with some group is actually I lift this guy because if he stays in tight, it's going to be hard for me to stick this hand in through here. He's tight. But what I'm doing is I'm actually lifting him up and over. I'm actually off balance, so I'm lifting him up to one side. So now it's going to be easier. So pummeling, boom, to that side. Now I'm lifting up in here. Boom. And actually, people feel how I'm actually pummeling it, and then literally I'm pulling his hands right into position. Now, if I hit this for a good 50 pummels, it's almost like, I'm thinking of his arms and his body weight. It's almost like I went into that gym right there, and I grabbed myself a couple 30, 45-pound dumbbells, and I'm just doing front lateral raises. It's going to develop the shoulders, it's going to develop the lats, it's going to develop the traps. Same thing that's going to be happening here as we're pummeling. We're moving it down. Like this kind of thing. You see how we're stepping in. You know, as that stepping in motion takes place, there's a lot of options that I'll get with. So let's grab one more partner, a different size. Let's help a neighbor out here just a little bit. Let's spend about another minute on this. Then we'll go into our first takedown. Okay, just look in here one more time, folks. Look in here. We're going to, I just want to show you a couple people doing this again. Got this is Rich and I, again, stepping in. Make sure the arm is stepped in. Stepping in like this. Knock me down, Rich. Take me backwards, Rich. Okay. So now, just by doing that tumbling right there, that's not easy. That is not easy. Now, I said grab a different partner here right now. I'm gonna have, I just call them David and Goliath here. Come on over, David and Goliath. A couple of guys already found out real quick what you can do with these shoulders and stuff like this. Come on there, guys, show them how you do that tumbling here real quick. Stepping in, still doing exactly the same motion right now. Perfect stepping, tumbling, step to the inside position. Give me a hand, guys. I know that this is an awkward kind of a drill. This drill is good for many things, even if you use it as a warming up apparatus. But if you want to really develop sport-specific muscular endurance and cardiovascular endurance, you do this. And you get someone that, after a while, you'll learn it more and more and more how to do the actual pummeling technique. And you'll realize, and normally, like I said, in the training camps, that they go for a 5-minute match on a circle. The whole purpose is my opponent's trying to push me out of this circle. I'm trying to push them out of the circle. But as they're pushing, you start learning all types of getting out of the way, arm dragging, pushing them up, learning to use their weight and momentum against them. What we're going to be doing now, we're going to go into our first of our takedowns from the same clinch position. And then we're going to be utilizing all 3 rooms so we have enough mat space when we're doing things. First thing that we're going to go over is this pummeling position. So he's a pummel back and forth, pummel, 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 freeze. I've been doing the stepping motion stuff like this. All we're going to do is, just when you get to your partner, have him freeze, and what I want to look at is my legs stepping nice and deep, overhook, underhook. All I'm going to do is, we're equal here right now. I want to be equal to my opponent. As my head, that's in tight here, as it slides on down, his arm will kind of come off the lat just that little bit. It's going to, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to trap his arm to his body by driving in. What you can see is, as I drop it down here, I'm actually moving in. I'm doing what's known as a double leg takedown from a clinch position. You pummeled in, boom, freeze. I'm in stepping motion right now, so all I'm going to do is I'm dropping my legs down. You see as I drop down, I actually go a little bit deeper, and it's what's known as a penetration step, driving it deep in this direction. As my head slides down the head, I'm trapping my head right in nice and tight to his body, to his rib cage. And my hands are attacking somewhere at right around his knee joints. Now what I'm going to do is I'm simply going to drive in, all the way down to the ground. What we do is, and you've seen this with what Steve did here automatically, is we like to do an offensive technique and a defensive technique. As I shoot in, I'm taking him down to the ground, but you saw how quickly Steve clinched me because he knows that if I should hit him, and I can get okay, just relax. If he just relax, also I'm going to go down with elbows, strikes, hammers, whatever I want to. So the moment that I was actually taken down, he clinched me right in a position to where now I still have things I can do, yes. But the reality is, no matter what, if you're on top, he cannot shut down everything that I can do, and vice versa. I can't shut down everything he can do, but I will limit his options. He come right back to the feet. Over another position, pummel again, stepping, pummel, 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 and freeze. I'm here, as I lower, see I get a little bit deeper, my head slides right on down his arm, I'm bringing it right in tight to his body. Hands are attacking at the knee joints, I'm just going to drive directly into him. I'm using the biggest muscles of my body, the legs. So as I explode forward, hands are going to be pulling in, or they'll simply hold because there's no way that my arms will be able to beat another man's legs. They just become holding apparatuses. What's going to beat them is the fact that I'm just be driving everything in as you go down to the ground. So what I want your partner to be doing is, as you pull it down, we're going to end up in what is known as the guard position. Open guard is when the legs are open. Closed guard is when the legs wrap around and they're locked. I'm going to hold the time. Pummel, pummel, freeze. Right from this position, I'm simply the same side that I had the overcut on, I'm simply dropping my body weight down. So it helps slide this arm off my lat. Drop it down as the hands attack at the knee joint. Then I'm simply exploding in a horizontal plane. Boom. Dropping right on down. So now we want to definitely shift to all 3 rooms. Do it nice and slow. Be aware of where your group surrounds you.
Come guys.
One of the questions that was asked me earlier today when I first met them they said, what do you think about when you walk into that cage? Like, yeah, no, I want to compete with the Ultimate Fighting Championship. I said, well, I don't think about anything. I said, because the reality is, if I have to stop to think, you've lost. You will drill technique to where it becomes second nature. For every action, there should be an automatic reaction. I work with law enforcement, for example. And one of the injustices to law enforcement is they will qualify with their handgun 3 or 4 times a year, but only once a year will they actually do any what's known as defensive tactics. But in that one day, they have to go over how do they use their baton, how do they do their handcuffing procedures. If it's a state that allows a taser, all the applications that involve a taser, and then they have to actually work on physical stuff on your feet and physical stuff on the ground. So the imbalance is quite offset because one main primary question that I tend to ask in each one of my law enforcement classes is, how long have you been in law enforcement? And then, how often have you drawn your weapon? Now again, depending on the region, inner city guys, definitely more than what people out in the more rural type settings. But they would simply tell me that the equation is way out of whack, where they still, even in inner city, they don't draw their weapon that often. But they will have to lay hands upon someone almost on a daily basis, multiple times a day, and the equation is out of whack as to how much experience they have in one as opposed to another. So this gives you an idea to where I want to try to keep coming back to this pummeling. So we keep emphasizing the pummeling technique, and every now and then switch to another partner. Because if you're struggling with the person that you're with, go to someone else that knows a little bit, that looks like they're doing a better job. Get with them. You know, if you train with someone and you brought the same partner here, train with somebody else. Get used to work with different body. When you go back to your training facility, you'll have that same person there. So this is an opportunity to get with someone from a whole different discipline right now, and to where you both are trying this out for the first time new. Going right back into this is over in the position. We're going to keep emphasizing that pummeling, upper body and lower body technique. Stepping in, boom, step, boom. You want that leg stepping right in between the crotch. That's stepping in position. Keep emphasizing and freeze. The moment that I freeze right into here again, the arm that my head is on the side of, the overhook side, I'm simply dropping down. It's like he's trying to do a curl here right now against my body weight. And I don't care for the exact same weight class. That's a lot of weight to try to curl with. So all I'm going to do is as I drop my weight down, you will see how my feet spread out just a little bit. I'm taking a little bit. My whole purpose here is I want to get this lead leg deeper. So that's what's known as a penetration step. So as I drop down, I'm dropping down. My head is dropped right in, trying to drop this arm right into his body. Hands going down to like right on the knee joints. And as I drive forward, most of my explosions come out this rear leg as I'm driving forward. Shoulder and head are hitting both. Shoulders hitting into the lower abdominal region. Head is trapping arm to the side because I'm trying to prevent him to be able to go into any kind of chokehold as we're going down to the ground. So as I go from here, I drop down, hands gripping. I'm pulling in with the arms, and I'm driving with the legs. I know that I can't just pull his legs right on in because most people aren't going to possess that kind of power. You think about a weight room setting, whatever you can do on a bench press, whatever you can do on leg press, it's about a 3 or 4 to 1 ratio of what your legs can do over and above what your arms can do. So dropping down, locking, and should be driving through. Right on down. And I'm going to end up right into this guard position. I know that it's one of the main positions that is used as a defense and an offense. Again, as the legs are crossed like this is what's known as a closed guard position. If they're open, that's known as an open guard position. Come up one more time.
Yes, sir.
Change on this side so they can see what I'm doing here. That's tight. Pummel, and freeze. What you're not seeing on this side is as I'm dropping down, and it's locking. Again, so driving in, One of the reasons why you see me keep releasing my hands out there, there's what's known as momentum counters. If I see it nice and tight to where my partner's in.
On Nick, sir.
Mix? Okay. So it's Nick, pummel, freeze. Okay, drop down with the double leg. Drop here, drive leg, boom, down. Hit, locking things in position. Okay, let's go back up again.
Sure.
All right. Now all I'm going to do this time, as we go in, if I simply hook onto his shoulders, his lats, as we're driving down, hitting the mat, I'm going to roll one direction or the other. It just depends on what side is his head on. And that's the direction I'm going to try to drive to, or the opposite side. Okay, pummel again. Pummel, pummel. What side do I try to do?
Either, sorry. Let's that's fine.
Okay, all right. Steps in position, okay. Steps down, drives in. Go ahead. Drives in. I'm going to throw things over. Come right back. Again, to the little letter steps. So as you see, as I go down, I release. I post my hands out because I'm trying to prevent that momentum counter. Because simply by locking into pummel, pump, up, quite straight in this position again. Drop down, just freeze for 1 second. As I know I'm being driven down, I'm falling, okay, go drive. As I hit, pull an arm in, I'm throwing everything in over. Then again, whether I go to cranks, strike options, smashes, there's a lot of things I can do, but it's all because I was able to keep his arms in nice and tight. But they fan out, he's got a nice post. I won't be able to stop him at that point. So let's go back with your partner, and let's go back over this pummel, 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 lower, drive in, nice double leg takedown, and go into that momentum counter on top of that. Go ahead.
Show it one more time.
Yeah, momentum counter here. Let me show it again. We'll do it again from two different angles, from this side and the other side. Okay, go ahead. Breathe. Steps on it. As he drives his arms, caught. It's hard to do. It's like I can't show what I'm doing as I'm falling down. What I'm doing is as he drove in to me, this hand that's in there, it's known as kind of a cross face. My hand between the head and arm. What I'm going to do is, as I whip it back in the opposite direction, I'm also keeping this arm in tight, because if this arm went out as a post like this, it'll never work. But because his hand's gripping on my leg, I'm locking over it. So I'm locking here, and I'm bringing this across in the same direction, and I'm just whipping it, throw my leg across. Without a partner, what it looks like here, as I fall down, I'm hooking his shoulder, keeping it tight. I should lift it towards me. Hand is going across the face. So as we fall down, I'm going to pull in like this and throw this arm across. Fall, boom, like this, and then I'm also going to throw these legs in what's known as kind of a scissor type position. So I'm attacking upper body wise, hitting this, and with the legs, I'm doing them scissor action where I'm bringing an outside post in. Anything that you hit on the ground is known as a tabletop concept. I need to attack one of the legs of the table, and then I'm going to move them in the direction that they no longer have any support. So if he's back in my guard position, we try to do this in slow motion. You shot in the legs, head on the opposite side. He's hit, he's got arm trapped in position just like this. So as I'm falling down, I'm just hooking on this arm, whether it be shallow, deep, just depends on what you're doing. So as I fall backwards, I'm pulling in, I'm throwing the legs over. Is one thing I'm doing, that little scissor action. So as I fall down, boom, legs action is taking place. Head in tight here, right shoulder, falling down, legs action. Now what I'm doing with the upper body, get back in position, is as I pull this in, go ahead, push in, hit. Now so we drive it all across. Right back on up, move that just a little bit. Grab the legs, arms back to the here. He pushed in, hook, rotate, outside, one last time. Traps in, he's got arm trapped in position now. I'm hooking flat. He drives me forward, and so we're whipping everything over and then right on top. Then there's even things I can do to arm to go for arm submissions, but I'm simply trying to take a bad position and turn it into a better position. So let's grab your partner. Let's work a little bit more on that pummel position to the double leg takedown. Right.
That's what we talked about earlier. You do get that leg that you just did. It's all
Okay. Well, while you're taking me down, and you try to take me down, I'm going to lock his arms. Yeah. We're trying to figure out some You did. that, Paul? Resist me. Make me work for it.
Address that momentum counter one more time because a couple questions were coming up. If we're in this pummel position, pummel, and all of a sudden Jason drops down, he's in that position. We see how if he does everything right, my arm is trapped, his head's trapped. And then as we look at it, he's only going to get this trap for about a fraction of a second, but he's got it caught right in position. So instead of having my hand, oops, let me just switch it around real quick. You see again, this is pummel again here for a second, just so you can see it all again. Pummel, freeze. Now as he lowers right now down, boom. See, his arm is trapped because a lot of you guys were saying I showed it if my hand was out here, cross space. This makes sense. If the arm's trapped in here, same basic game, but my hand is locked underneath his lat. Just move back a little bit here. So as Jason drives in, I'm still underneath here. This is an overhook on the other side. So as I'm pulling it in towards his body, this is coming up over this arcing direction. So I'm doing scissors with my hands. I'm doing the scissors with my arms. I'm also going to do scissors with my legs. So as I move in here, boom, 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 right back up on top. The hard part is when you do this slow motion, it feels like a lot of work. If you do it nice and slow, you'll feel it all. Let's do it from this side here a couple times. Then from the other side. So pummel, boom, boom, and freeze. Jason drops back down. He hits me. Boom, momentum counters, and then bring it on top. Again, while I go into working this arm, strikes, a lot of options. You can even start rolling with it. Start throwing. You know, I'm doing a lot of arm bars right there. That's what Steve's lat rubber. We're all limited by flexibility. Well, all my guys know that Dan is not so flexible. I'll have all these other guys super so come in here, pulling nice and tight, throwing the leg out and over, and then drop right back to arm bars. So like this, me, it's not going to happen. You know, I'm going to have to need something that's very, very feeble and very, very flexible to make it work. Now from this side, pummel, and freeze, drops it in. Now it's like this. Jason again drops me on down. You're seeing underhook is still over here. It's trapped underneath his body. Overhook, I'm hooking over this arm. So I'm still going to be scissoring all the action in the same direction. And I'm still hitting the leg, scissors drive it in across. Still coming right back up. Back up again. Now I'm going to do it just 2 more times, one from each side, so you see in regular, kind of still slow motion fashion. Pummel, boom, boom, and freeze, drops, hit, drive, down, ends up right up into mount positions means I'm sitting on top of my opponent while I'm sitting on their belly, sitting on their chest. One more from the other direction. Freeze, drops, hits, drives, right back up, mount position. So grab your partners here again. Let's spend a little bit of time on this, understand how we're defending that double leg takedown. We gave you a tool offensively now. Let's give you the tool defensively.
The other one,
I got to your problem. Well, yeah, you need to look at the hand out on the way down.
I wait.
I want to address one thing on that double leg takedown from the clinch position, and that is I see as guys are falling down, as you're falling backwards, I see that some guys are trying to catch themselves. Now I really haven't seen any real break falling taking place, which is fine. Because again, when I go into law enforcement, for example, and I see these guys falling down, they start slapping the mat, I go, that's great if we're in a dojo environment. We have mats up like this, but if you're out on the concrete, asphalt, especially when it comes to law enforcement, they're more apt to be in an alleyway with busted glass, things of nature. And if you slap belly down, you know, slapping with the palm down, you're exposing all of your arteries and that. And actually, it's still the same ligaments that pulls triggers. It's the same direction. So you can hit the back of your hand, and if you get cuts here, you're still gonna function. You're gonna bleed. You're not gonna bleed out if you get hit on the inside, the belly, up and down. So as you're falling down, try not to get into the habit of posting the palm, posting the elbow, because it'll put a lot of trauma onto an elbow joint. It'll put a lot of trauma onto the knee joint. I mean, I'm falling down backwards. I'm going to be aware of my head hitting, because as Steve hits me on this pummel drill, steps in, I fall backwards. I'm just bringing chin to chest. That's all I'm doing. Just chin to chest, so I know the back of my head is not going to hit. Release, step in, kick it down. Boom. I hit. I'm just dropping it in position again. However my hands lock, because a lot of guys are asking me, well, can my hands, are they okay if they're both under? Yes. Are they okay if they're both over? Yes. Any combination there is, because I don't know what my opponent's going to do to me. So as long as I can grab something to keep him in tight, I'm going to minimize a lot that he can do to me on the ground. I'm not going to stop at all. Now let's